Hi, my name is Tyler Dean. I'm one of the U.S. project managers for Reignite Freedom and GlobalWalkout.com. By now you might have heard about us, but if you haven't, or if you're just hearing about us for the first time, I would urge you to go check out our website and educate yourself on our mission. For the last 2 to 3 years, our brothers and sisters across this world have been uniting on a scale that this world has never seen before, and yet still Americans are left in the dark. I can think of one time in recent history that this was the case. So to quick sum it up, we're doing a series of steps globally. The more people who are participating in these steps, the bigger the impact is going to be. Now, the first 4 steps is directly intended to affect them, which in turn is kind of fun for all of us. Let's recap.
Step 1, announced by Catherine Austin Fitz, is to use cash as much as possible, and also to print out these little printouts from the Global Walkout website, and every time you pay cash, give the cashier one of these slips as well. Step number 2, announced by farmer Pete Posma from Holland, was to support your local grocery stores and farmers as much as possible. Find out what is growing in your area and try to buy products that are locally grown as much as possible. Step number 3, announced by Dan Aston Gregory from the UK, was to avoid mainstream media as much as possible, even if the headlines are intriguing. Step number 4, announced by Mads Pelsvik from Belgium, was to move your bank accounts to a smaller credit union or smaller community bank if possible.
Now, the 5th step is to turn your flag upside down to show that your country's in distress. Now, I don't really believe that this step applies to America because, frankly, we've been left in the dark so long, we haven't even really begun to rise to our power yet. Our flag is still standing straight up strong as ever. The media just does not want us to know that. So these next few steps are directly for us. This is to rekindle what they tried to take from us over the past 3 years, the human connection.
Step number 6, announced by Thierry Baudet, a Dutch Member of Parliament, was to have one dinner or lunch a week that is a little bit more special than the rest. Try to invite friends and family over to really build that community again that has been lost during lockdowns and COVID. Step number 7 was announced by Amanda Forbes from Children's Health Defence Canada, and step number 7 was to avoid self-checkouts or ordering food using a QR code. Step number 8, announced by, me, was to watch the new documentary from Robert Kennedy Jr. called The Real Anthony Fauci, because knowledge is power. Step number 9 was announced by Paddy Holohan from Ireland, and this is a take on step number 1, which was to use cash as much as possible. But step number 9 is the business edition, so we are encouraging businesses to display signs telling their customers that cash is preferred.
Now, we understand not everybody's going to be able to follow these steps to the T every single day, but that's not the point. Because the day that you can't follow one of these steps, you know that your neighbor still is. You can be confident that the Global Walkout movement is now in over 100 different countries, and people across the world are following these steps and pushing back against all of this. See, the media is not going to tell you about this. They're not going to tell you this movement is even a thing or making an impact. But the fact is, every now and then, you get stories like this. And it really goes to show you who really has the power. To Americans, it's time to take a stand and rise to our power. To the people across this world who've been fighting for the last 2 to 3 years, we hear you. The media wants you to think you're isolated and alone in your own countries. That's not the case. The whole world is hearing what's going on in your countries. Do not feel isolated. Keep pushing. We are going to come together collectively very soon. Stay tuned this Sunday for the next step.